DSLR view is not working. There we go. That's a bit better. Much better. Just update that. A couple of PMs. George 69. Hey, how's it going? Hey George, how you doing? Hey, my advice guy. I'm very well, thanks. How you doing? It's a lovely evening tonight, actually. If I would turn the webcam, but I'm pretty sure I'd screw it up. But there's a nice sunset going on that direction, albeit not exactly straight here. Let's try and get you a bit straighter. Or is the sound really quiet? You mean the microphone really quiet, or the music really quiet? I can move the microphone a little bit closer. I don't know if that's gonna, just double check to make sure that's not gonna cut into anything. No. Can't hear any music, and the microphone is very quiet. So let me just have a play quickly. So how about now? You guys might be able to hear me a little bit better now. Didn't know there was any music playing. Oh, you can't hear the music playing. There's definitely some desktop audio. How about now? Better, but still quiet. Okay, let me just turn it up a little bit further. We'll go to... Okay, how about now, guys? Oh, I see what I've done as well. Let's just turn that down a bit now for you guys. You should be able to hear the music a bit better now, and you should be able to hear me a bit better now. For some reason, my the gain on my microphone was mucked about with, and the Windows sound was turned right down as well. Windows doing silly things yet again, as per usual. As per. Just move to Linux. No, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, I can turn it up even further if you want me to for the microphone. I'll move it up a little bit further. So we're maxed out on the microphone as on the actual OBS, and I can move the. Hey Meowsaw, how you doing? How's your Saturday? It's Sunday. It's Sunday today. How's your Sunday going? Let's just move the chat up to here so I can see the chat a bit better. I can't see the chat very easily. move on to the next song at the very least. Something a little bit more chill. Oh. Okay guys, it's 2 minutes past 7 and I said that I'd be starting at 7, so we will get on with the actual build. So late probably last month, maybe the month before, I can't exactly remember, I built this board with Helios, and Helios were okay, but I much preferred unsilenced linears. So I sold all of the Helios and so stripped the board, and it sat on the shelf sort of behind me, or in my previous house in a box, and it just didn't get used. So what I've decided to do, because I've gotten the opportunity to get some Zilents as part of a sort of a trade, I've decided that I'm going to build this board with MX Zilents instead. And those MX Zilents should make a big difference to the overall feel of the board, I think. So we're going to give it a bit of a change up. So we've got the old HS60 here, as you can see. So it's been fairly well used. You can see that the lube is actually sort of like dissipated from underneath here, and so you can see all of the spots where it started to sort of just like move about. So I don't know if that's going to affect it in the long term, but you never know. But nonetheless, so this is the HS60. I've got the stabs still left in place because I didn't need to uninstall them at the time. So everything got pulled off the board. Didn't mean to do that. Everything got pulled off the board, and everything is all fine. PCB still works and everything. So didn't mean to drop that. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take the brass plate. So this brass plate, I don't know if people had seen it before. I'm going to try not to flip it over and land it on the case again. Is made by Laserboost. So they managed to do me quite a good deal on this plate. It's a little bit bent from something, I'm not exactly sure what. It doesn't sit quite straight for some reason. And it came straight, so I assume that just me installing it into the board has sort of flexed it a little bit, I guess. So we're just trying to straighten that out a little bit. A little bit better. Little better. So these switches here are in my switch tester, my switch builder, are 78 gram Zilent V2s, and these have been lubed on just the bottom housings, and then bag lubed. The stem has been bag lubed. What was the plate made of again? So this is a brass plate, just a standard brass plate from Laserboost, and it's got their the shiny finish. I can't think of the name. PVD, the PVD shiny finish on it. I had a sandblasted plate, which is in one of the boards over on behind me, and the sandblasted plate. I don't know what it is with my hands. I've got quite oily hands, and a sandblasted finish just picks the oil on your hands up straight away, and it just tarnishes, and so it looks terrible. But you might be able to see on here if I bring it closely enough, just in this area where my thumb held it with my thumb, and because of holding it there with my thumb, it's just tarnished it, and this was far worse on my sandblasted plate. So I got a PVD finish on this, and it protects it a little bit better. I can actually wipe this and clean it completely, but realistically I'm not that bothered. So these switches were then, going back to the switches, the bottom housings were lubed with 205 grade 0, and they were then, the stems and the springs were bag lubed in Krytox 104. I didn't want to take too much of the bump away from it this time, and so a bit of 104 was good enough. 106 would have probably taken a little too much, and I used all of my supply of 105 up. So, and then we have at the very bottom here this switch here. This is my Cherry MX lock switch. This is 180 gram spring in it that I got given. I can't remember who gave it to me now. Somebody very nicely gave me a bunch of 180 gram springs for my lock switches, and so this has been opened up and lubed with Krytox 205 grade 0 all over, including the spring, and yeah, it feels much nicer, much nicer than the original. So let's get back to the chat. So George says, I'm scared to get a GMK caps in case my hands are too oily and they shine quickly. Yeah, I mean, my hands aren't specifically oily, like they're not like I'm not like dripping sort of thing, but even my hands do get a little bit sort of oily, but I haven't seen it affect like GMK stuff. It mainly affects the plates, and it's I don't know what sort of finish they put on it. I don't know if they put a decent lacquer finish on it or anything like that, but it's just not strong enough to stop it from marking it. Mayor Advice Guy says, need to order a plate from Laserboost at some point. I think they were having a sale on brass plates. You might want to have a look in the in that chat, in the vendors, whatever it is, vendors treehouse, or where is it, vendors news, because they had something in there. It might have been a little while ago. On the 23rd, they had a 20% sale on brass and copper, but it's for a limited time, so it might have finished by now. So sorry if I've just sort of yanked chain and then they finished the sale a long time ago. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to sort of trying to align this up here, and what we should be able to do is just push this in place, and it'll sit quite nicely together. Just going to give it a good push. There we go. Okay, so that's pushed up right against the stabs now. So we've now got that in sort of place where I want it to be in. Let's just check to make sure that there's no. There was one of these plates that I got made once upon a time that was missing a bunch of screw holes, and so just got to check. No, should be all fine to place that in there. So my advice guy says, yeah, but none mon available. No mon available. What's mon? Oh, or are you saying more available? Spending all of the money on. Oh, no mon available. Money available. I see. Money, more money on plane and train tickets and hotel rooms. I mean, you got to spend money to make money. Albeit that probably doesn't. You need to sell something at the next meetup. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to start doing. Meowsaw says, is that the MK UK4 macro pad in the background? What are you using it for? Yes, it is actually. So this is my little macro pad. I made it on the last stream, and currently it's not really got any use. I am going to be using it for likely for Twitch overlays and muting and unmuting myself, but I want to get the final cap for it. Jay has got me he's got the packs of Everesters, and I need the Radster to finish that off, and then I'm going to start programming it properly. But currently I've just got no use for it. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to start getting some switches in, and so for this sort of board, it's always a good idea for to get these some of the center switches in. the stabs are actually holding it in place quite nicely on this bottom edge and this side here. It's going to be the middle and this bit that'll make it pivot, and having it pivot about is not a good idea. Some of the switches might not go in particularly nicely and they might end up popping other ones out. So we'll just get these in nice and slowly. And don't want to put too much pressure on these because it is very, very easy to bend the legs on these. And so just hold it in place whilst I pull the plate up a little. Hope everybody's having a good bank holiday weekend so far. I don't know, May, if you guys have the bank holiday weekend. Do you have the same bank holiday weekend as us, or? I hope you do. I hope you're chilling out and you're going to be having a nice day off tomorrow as well. So, I don't know if you guys can see this too well, but the switches, you can see the flex on the plate there. Some of the switches aren't sitting perfectly right, so what's always a good idea to do is just sort of hold them in place and pull the plate up to them. There we go. They do clip in, but it's always a good idea. George asks, what caps are they? You're not allowed to see them. Not allowed to see them. They're no caps that you're allowed to see. You'll be able to see them later in the stream. They are going to be going on the board. I've gotten them specifically for this. So, Mary Advice Guy says we have some really different holidays, so no holiday for me. Oh, that's a shame. I thought potentially because it's a bank holiday that you might have the same ones. So, oh, the one you mean the ones on the TK? No, you're not allowed to see that one either. No, I'm joking. So this is the Solarized Dark set that I managed to get. Really, really nice keycap set. I'm really happy that I bought it. And so the only differences are that this spacebar doesn't come as part of the Solarized Dark set. I sold the Cyan set recently to... Who did I sell it to? I sold it to... I'm going to find his name. He's going to annoy me otherwise. He's normally in here as well. Sold it to him at London. Geordie bought it from me. And so as part of the GMK Pristine, I gave him the other keycaps, but the only thing I needed was the 7U spacebar. I had everything else pretty much, so except that 7U spacebar. So if you want to get that, I think Originative still sell the kit, I think, or they might sell just the 7U spacebar, or the spacebar kit of some sort. $400 for all the Solarized Dark on sets of Solarized Dark on Keyclack. Yeah, that is if you want everything. So that's the spacebar kit. That's the funny coloured alphas. Everything. I just wanted the base kit and the ISO stuff, and I think the ISO might have came in the base kit. The ISO UK stuff, so that's all I really needed, and I bought it for $130, maybe $130, $140. George is looking like he's going to get a ban fairly shortly. George says ANSI is better than ISO anyway. He's wrong. He's fine to believe that. I mean, he can believe what he likes, but at the end of the day, he is wrong. Sorry, George, but you are wrong. No, whatever layout you prefer. I've actually tried moving to ANSI. Shamefully tried moving to ANSI, I should say. But I just can't get on with it, if I'm honest. I tried it because I wanted to have more availability of keycaps and also not have to pay as much out for keycap sets. So I wanted that aspect, but tried it, couldn't get on with it, went back. Say it with me. Personal preference. And I guess it's just your personal preference to be wrong. It's better for me because I have small hands and it hurts to stretch my pinky to the ISO enter. Oh, I guess so, yeah. I mean, you could just get some heavier weight springs and train those little feeble hands to be able to use. Oh, I'm putting it in upside down. This one. To be able to use ISO, but. So one thing I don't know if people know on the HS60, these two top switches are actually inverted, and so are the LEDs. Just this one and this one. They're both inverted, and so just be careful. I know that you can sometimes you get into a bit of a rhythm of things, and you can end up breaking switches or bending legs and stuff like that. No, don't get me wrong. I hate both ANSI and ISO. No, that's a strong opinion there. That is a very strong opinion. I mean, then again, I guess you are a 40% user, aren't you? So you've got something definitely wrong with you if you're a 40% user. Ortho is the only real layout. Now that is even stronger words, I think that is. No, it's as Jay always points out, it is personal preference, and so whatever feels natural for you, to be honest. It also comes, the same thing comes down to spring weights and for what you prefer. If you don't like 72 grams because it's too heavy, it's your personal preference at that. How do I report people on Twitch again for bullying? Well, you're getting bullied in a mechanical keyboard stream, so I don't think the Twitch admins are going to have much respect for that, to be fair. So what I've done is I've gone along and by pulling up this corner, this corner here, by pulling that one up, it's then straightened the whole plate all the way along. The bottom row is the same now. It all looks good, and so you should be able to see there is very little gap now between them. Sometimes what you get is you get a little gap on the on some of the corner ones where it's just able to put enough pressure on the plate to push it down. So it's always worth just going over those very quickly and sorting them out. He says, and Mayor Advice Guy says, and the best layout, and 40% is the best layout. Fight me IRL. Well, I think he has just taken the threat to a new level. Twitch staff, get him. No, it's whatever you prefer. Whatever you prefer. I mean, if you like little children's 40% boards, sure, go for it. Go for it. If you're a man who enjoys TKLs, then a bit more understandable. If you like little children. Sorry, I didn't mean to say if you like little children. It was a bad analogy. So, Mayor Advice Guy, you're coming over to Southampton, are you? Can you get a flight into Southampton direct? I know Southampton does have an airport, so. I should have counted this exactly perfectly, I think. Or at least I'm hoping so. Yeah, but it's like 10 to 20 times as expensive as London. Really? Geez. Yeah. I wasn't expecting it to be more expensive. I mean, Southampton's only a small little airport, so. The train from London to there is nice and easy. Not a difficult train, so. And the train should be about £25 or something like that, so. Look at that. All of the switches bar the locker in, so I'm just going to go along and just make sure I'm happy that these are all in nicely. So have you got yourself a hotel watched down there, or? God. Me and my terrible. Nah, out of context clip. Context is key, my friend. Poor form on the out of context clip. Okay, so we've now got that in place. I've made sure that they're all like pushed down nicely. Just looking for hotel today. That's all I need to book. Oh, very nice, very nice. It sounds like you've got things very well sorted if that's the case. I'm going to try and get, if I can come along, I'm going to try and get down to Southampton earlier because I have to go do a little bit of shopping whilst I'm down there. So if you're about, I might well be about at that sort of time. But I think Jay is going to Bewley or Goodwood. I can't remember which one he's going to now. And so I think he's trying to go have a sort of a day out at wherever it is. It's a car place, so. I mean, I think most of us are in poor form. There's a little nephew outside, I think, at the moment. I might go get him. One second. You can say hello to the stream for once. Is there a little nephew there?
He was going to scare you.
Do you want to come say hello? Do you want to come say hello to the stream? Alright, come on. You go say hello. Say hello to them. So this is Oliver. Say it. Go rah. So this is little Oliver. This is my my sister's son. And say hi. Hi, stream.
Hi, stream.
Ah. All right. I've got to finish off building keyboards, and I think you've got to go have a bath or a shower or something, haven't you? So, alrighty. Off you go. Yeah, you've got to go in my office. Is that in there? Now, if there was a clip, that would have been worth clipping. Yeah, it's my little cousin Oliver. He's staying round this evening. My sister's gone off to go watch what's the Avengers? The Endgame. She's gone off to go watch Endgame, and she didn't think he could last the 3 hours needed to sit through it. So Mayor Advice Guy says, also going to the CIC. I need to see if I can make the Berlin meetup. The CIC? I'm not sure what the CIC is, sorry. Put the music back on as well. What's done there? Yes, you do owe me a beer, actually. Yeah, I completely forgot about that beer. Thank you very much for reminding me. Yeah, you were unfortunately sat on the table behind me for it, for the meal. So, and then I moved over to sit next to Dave and stuff. Dave and Ben. Yeah. No. Children's sized keyboards. Not children. Out of context clip is out of context. Yes, he is. He's got a little dinosaur outfit on, and he's got a little dinosaur dressing gown. Okay, that is looking perfect. So that's in nicely. So what I should have probably done is make sure that the caps fit first nicely before doing it all up so tightly. So I need an adult size version of that hoodie. I'll ask Oliver where he got it from, and I'll get back to you. Just closed. Mayor Advice Guy says, just closed my box that I have printed for my Uno cards. Now I cannot open it. Oh dear. I think I've got the perfect thing to open it over in a bag over there. Do you want me to go get one for you? I'll show you what you need to use to be able to open it. One of them. That's what you're going to need to use now to open it. So, back. again. Meowsaw says, films are too long these days. 1 hour 30 minutes should be the standard. Well, I mean, it is the last Avengers film, so I can give them a little bit of leeway that 3 hours is okay. But I'm glad that they just didn't split it over like a lot more films than that. Oh, clicking Cologne. Oh, I see. Very nice, very nice. How far away are you from Cologne? Is it a fairly decent sized journey for you? I'm a man of my word. You'll get a pint or two when we meet next. Oh, very nice. I'll make sure it's the pint of some sort of whiskey or something like that. Pint of Glenmorangie or something like that. Perfect. Gotta make the most of the pint. George asks, what caps are they? Ooh. These are DSA Royal Navy. Bought many eons ago from UK Keycaps when they ran this set. And it is probably one of my favourite sets. It just doesn't get used as much as I'd like to because it doesn't match as well as I would like to other stuff. So, but it is a nice set. My advice guy says after hammering it with a brush, I got it open. Oh, not bad then, not bad. As long as you can get the Uno cards back out, that's the key thing here. I think the whole thing needs to shift that way a little. So I'm just gonna unscrew these a little, so they're just not making as strong contact as they were. Mary Vasco says, yeah, like a 2-hour plane ride. That's not bad, not bad. 2-hour plane ride, I don't know how long it would be for me. Quite a lot longer, I expect. George says, DSA is the best profile on keys, 60% or smaller. I mean, I'm a big fan of just DSA in general on tactiles and clickies. They feel a little bit nicer than Cherry. I can't get enough of Cherry profile with linears. It's just a beautiful combination. Cherry profile like GMK and stuff like that. Oh, we've got Andy in the house today. Hi Andy, how you doing? Andy asks, what's up? Not too much, just chilling out and building this HS60. How about yourself? Unfortunately, I am building a tray mount aluminium case. Okay, that's a bit better. A bit more enough space where it's not going to make any contact. If you have smaller than 60%, it's not worth it trying to find a sculpted set that fits your layout. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that sentiment. It would be nice if you could get a 40%. I think Evan did a 40% layout, didn't he? GMK set. I don't know if that ended up taking off or not. I can't imagine it would because unfortunately there is so few people in the community that are into sort of 40% size stuff, unfortunately. But this has got quite a few different compatibility options for it. So Andy asks, Is that the Ton TKL? No, that's not the Ton TKL. So this board here is my Mech 27 V2, and it has got a C cubed or C3 LDN PCB inside of it, so which is quite a rare PCB in itself. RGB PCB. So. Don't really want to play around with the lights on it though too much, because unfortunately the software on it is just trash. It is just trash. Off to play some games, says Mary Advice. Oh, okay. Enjoy. Hopefully you have good RNG. Andy says, I do need to get a nice tray mount case. Yes, you do. You do. I was thinking about selling this case up until I decided to stream this build tonight. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get your hands on this one. But the tofu, I strongly suggest the tofu. It's always a nice option. It's quite a cheap option to be honest as well. Yeah, I bought this one for 60 quid, I think. I think it was 60 quid I paid, which is not bad for a fully aluminium case. I do need. So George says there's so few people in the community into little children. Yeah, that's probably because most of them are in prison. I wouldn't go around with that sentiment too much, because you may ending up in prison as well. Oh, Bledden's here today. Hi Bledden, how you doing? He says, Matt, very quiet. Something has been going on with my voice meter for some reason, and I'm not exactly sure why. I can turn myself up a little bit. How about there? Is that a little bit better? Or, I mean, I can turn myself up. I mean, I'm 12 decibels higher on this now. Might just be the distance from the microphone to me. Just off screen. Much better. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let me get those dulcet tones. Those dulcet tones. Sorry, I missed Andy's comment. Rare PCB, lol. It is actually quite a rare PCB. I bought it in the at the same time as the Mech 27. The guy had the PCB, and I had about 5 people message me after I bought it asking if they could buy just the PCB on its own. I even had one guy message me via Discord, and I mean I didn't put my Discord out when I bought it. I bought it off of Reddit. Guy messaged me on Discord to try and buy it off me. But no, I bought it. I bought the Mech 27 because it was a crazy good deal. He wanted less than the group buy price for the case, and it was including an extra PCB and brass plate, which you couldn't get in the group buy, and so got it pretty cheap. What I've been saying since the start of the stream. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let me have a look further into the settings. It might just be that something funky is going on with the sound settings, as per usual with these sort of things. So let's have a look. Levels. So the levels are all maxed out currently. So let's see if I can properties levels. So this might get quite loud quite quickly, so I'm just going to bump this up. Is that any better, guys? So that's 50% louder than it was before. I've gone from 50 to 75. Is that any better? I mean, this is the microphone in. Loads better. Okay, that's good. So, just so you guys know, you can hear a static hum. So the static hum is probably the big bad boy here to my right. So what that means is I can now play around with the audibility. So is that any better? Am I getting cut off at all? Bring it down here. There you go. Can you guys hear me better and the static hum is going now? Okay, so I've got the audibility sorted out now. I'll need to sort this out. Okay, let me just turn the audibility off entirely. I'll have to sort this out after the stream because it's more than likely going to be the PC that's sat next to me. So what I could do is I can just move this back a little bit now. See if that helps at all. How does that sound, guys? Can you still hear me okay, or I'll continue putting this together in the meantime, but let me know if you can hear me any better and my voice is sounding a little bit better. Okay, that's good. As long as you're clear. Okay, that's good. So I did turn the gain down. So so you guys know I've got a Rode mic above me, this bad boy. So I've got a Rode mic, and then I'm using a program called Voice Meter, and Voice Meter. But the volume's slightly lower than ideal, but it's fine. Okay, I mean I can. How about now? Is that better? Even better. Perfection. Where's that GIF? That meme even. Sorry, so I'll go back to the other questions that were there before. Really, wow, I wish one day people would see my PCBs like that and go mad for them. Yeah, I mean, the issue with these PCBs is that they are one of the only TKL PCBs with full RGB per switch backlighting, and I mean you can change each key is registerable separately. You can do funky things with it. You can do rainbow effects, everything like that, and also it's fully programmable, and so I mean it's rare in and of itself, to be fair, and he's only ever done one run. He did one run and then stopped pretty much, which is the biggest shame really out of it all. He's going to be doing another run of it, and so because of that, people who bought PCBs in the very first in the group buy portion of it have made an absolute mint. They have really made an absolute mint, because they were like $50-60 PCBs at the time, and I mean, one guy offered me what, $150. I think that was the highest bid for one of them, and I wasn't interested in selling. I really wanted one of these. I'd been searching around for months for them. So, now the real reason I'm here. Where is my minivan? Well, the minivan is actually sat just over there at the moment. I'm going to be working on it probably tomorrow at this point, and I'm going to get that built and sent back to you. Albeit I do have to try and find some stabs. I went through my box of stabs that I had, and they're all shitty fake stabs, unfortunately. I didn't realise that I had so many fake cherry stabs from way back when I bought all of those stabs from Taobao. Oh, and one thing to note with this board, these are legitimate Zeals. These, I checked the underside, they're not shiny, they're textured, so around the little legs. They are legitimate Zeals, so ain't getting none of that fake rubbish. Sorry, I've just got to throw my ore in there, you know. I looked around on Destority and I found an anti-plate for the Phantom you sold me. I found different cases I can go with Bog. Oh sweet, that's really good. Yeah, I mean, Destority, you've more than likely found JD Carp if you found plates. I mean, the man is a genius back in the day when it came to plates, because he was making these things himself, not using plate designers and stuff like that. He was building them for people to be able to use. So really good guy. And look at that. And we are complete. The board is together and working. I say working, haven't tested it yet. Should test it first. I just want to have a bigger. It's feeling quite nice. Andy says, wow, they're pretty good then. Yeah, I mean, strangely, having conversations with other PCB designers, they all said that doing per key RGB and underglow was impossible on a mini USB, because you just couldn't get enough power to do it all. This PCB in here is mini USB. It's a mini USB design, and he's managed to get it to work really, really well. And I was really surprised after hearing that. Most people are saying that they should opt for USB-C to be able to get that sort of thing to work. He says Zeal prices. Well, yeah, I'm not originally not Zeal prices, is now Zeal prices. And he says, what firmware is it? So this is running a custom firmware made by LDN, and it's not the greatest bit of software in the world. It is very clunky, and it is made for a Chinese market, and so it's been very, very poorly translated. But saying that, I don't really care that much. All I really want to be able to do is be able to change colour of switches whenever I want. That's really what I care about. Bleden says, I can send some. Oh, if you could send some, that would be incredible. I've got one more place that I need to have a look, but I think they're more than likely going to be fakes as well. So I've actually got on one of my boards back there, no, you guys can't quite see it. On one of my boards back there, I am actually using fake stabs, because they actually work better on that one for the spacebar. Everything else, don't bother using fake stabs because they are terrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this out. We're going to put this on top of the PC. So this was set up to be blue last time I looked. I tested it a little earlier, so we're just going to plug it back in. Look at that. Look at that lovely blue underglow that we've got going there. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to get a little key tester going. So keyboard tester, launch tester. Okay, so let's just video capture, keyboard tester. Oh, this is, I've got to use Firefox on this. I'm hoping this is going to work. Yes, it is. F and I work. That's good. Oh, God's sake. I have to do this in a funky way. Copy. I need to make it a bookmark. And search. So let's load that up. Unfortunately, Google Chrome just does not want to work with it. with OBS very well. Let's just hit cancel. I need to get these. What I'm just doing for you guys, I'm just getting the switch tester up on the screen for you. Perfect. Okay, so let's just shrink it down a little. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this down here so you guys can just about see it. So we're just going to give it a quick run through here to make sure we're happy. So escape is working. Top row is working. Hey. Tab is working. It's tabbing the click this thing up here, which isn't particularly useful. Next row is working. So the one key that I know that does not work currently, and it's the same as if you were to use it, use this switch on any of the other ones, is the caps lock, because I'm using a lock-in caps lock. I know that for a fact that it doesn't work. I can press it down, doesn't work. But it works for how I want it. The reason that I have a lock-in caps is so that I just don't keep hitting it all the time. So because I do have a tendency just to hit keys randomly if I'm panic firing in like a game of Apex Legends, I end up just hitting keys on the keyboard. So so let's just go through the next row. Ooh. Oh, it's doing this funny find thing again. Okay, that's all working. So I can see that it's working because it's bringing this quick find thing up on the bottom there. For some reason, Firefox has these silly little commands in there. Yeah, that's working. Windows key is working because it brings Windows up. You can see Alt working there just after it's gone through. Spacebar, opposite Alt. Give it a second. There you go. Windows key is working. Now that is the Meta plus WSD is doing the arrow keys for me, and Control. Working. Everything is working. Excellent news. Excellent news. So let's just re-hide that. Sorry guys, I haven't been able to read the chat whilst I've just been doing that. So let's just catch up on chat. George says, I probably won't get to build it for months because I may make my school keyboard before the TKL. But I can't wait until I do make it. No, that's. I hope that that's going to be soon at the very least. Auto mod has kicked in for Bledin saying I have Chinese stabs in my tofu. So obviously they reckon that is a dangerous comment that you've made there, and you've been a naughty boy by saying it. But no, yeah, I've got Chinese stabs in mine as well, and they are pretty bad. So I'm going to allow you to say that. Yes, they are very rattly though. George says my last cube didn't have any stabs. Yeah, it's because you're an ortho weirdo. No, I'm joking. You should get some stabs though. To you and wider keys are better. Bledin says, why don't you download EK Switch Hitter? Realistically, I only use the keyboard tester because it's just easy to use. I just load it up as a web page and off we go. But for some reason, when I'm streaming and doing this, it's just not compatible. For some reason, it just doesn't like it. So Andy asks, how's the new house? I mean, office, yeah, I mean, the new office is great. I mean, you guys can see stuff behind me, so I'm collecting a bunch of keycaps and bits and pieces, and I've got the keyboards. So at the top, I've got some very nice keyboard shelf, like little holders that'll hold it up a little bit, so it sort of sits the board a bit like that. I've got a bunch of those coming from Australia at the moment, so they're going to be here in the next couple of weeks. And I can see George is trying to get past the auto mod with Chinese stabs. Yes, naughty Bledin. He should be. Yeah. Oh, it was the CRKBD. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, don't need stabs for that. Yeah, I mean, web-based stuff is fine for me. It just means that I can just normally it's a case that I've got a bunch of bookmarks on the top, and it's like the 5th bookmark is keyboard tester. I must have tested about, I have no idea, quite a lot of keyboards in the time of it though. So one thing I don't know if you guys know, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this colour. I don't want it teal. Teal does not go very well with it, so I'm going to just get VIA up. So I don't know if we're going to be able to. Let's bring VIA up, and we might be able to have a little bit of play with VIA here. If some of you guys haven't seen VIA before, so just change it from that to VIA. Why do you suddenly not want to work either? For some reason, VIA doesn't want to work either. Oh wait, here we go. No, just a black screen. Alright, let's have a proper play with it again. Oh, do I have to open it as an administrator? VIA. Run as administrator. See if we can get it to show its face. No, VIA just doesn't want to be able to be shown on here. So it's a shame because I can't show you VIA very easily here. Oh, did I have it as display capture? This might be what I had last time. Yes, I think this was what I had last time. So if I get this up here. Is it going to allow me to do this properly? I don't know if this is going to work at all well or not. Oh, you can see both screens apparently for some reason. So let's just remove this and this and this. I don't know if you guys can see this particular one. That's probably not a great idea, to be fair. Let's try something else. Is it the window capture? Window capture, VIA. I just can't get VIA to show for some reason. But, okay, so instead of showing you guys my desktop, because my desktop is messy as hell and it has got some work files on there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to instead just make some changes on the fly so you can see them on stream. So I don't want the lighting to be the colour that it is, because I'm not a fan of this sort of what is it? This tealy sort of colour. So let's have a play. So if you guys can see this fairly well, I do like the I do like the whitey sort of colour, so let's bring it down to a sort of a white. So that looks a bit better. A nice white. I mean, somewhere in a with a little bit of a blue hue, it's quite nice. I mean, we could go for a nice dark blue. Go along with the navy. Navy or a deep red. Bleden says deep red, so that's a nice red. I'm not too sure about the red, if I'm honest. There, doesn't quite match with what I want. If I had the sail enter key, then maybe. That's a maybe. I mean, that's yellow. I'm thinking a nice white, to be fair, or just go full RGB. Let's go with that. So we're just going to go with the full RGB-ness, and it's going to cycle it horizontally for me. And I'm happy with that. Cycle it horizontally. Unfortunately, Andy, I can't VIA. It was working the last time, but all right. Give me a minute, and I'm going to see if I can get this working. I'm going to see if I can get this working, and then I'll answer some questions. This damn thing is. What on earth is this music? I've got VIA open here, so why does VIA not want to go in the list? Oh. Can I do? Let me see if I can do a screen region or something like that. Then. Nope, that doesn't want to work. Works 100. I remember that as 100% of the time. See if I can do a display capture of it. No. For some reason the display capture is trying to do the whole of my display, which I don't really want to do, which would be a real pain in the arse here. Can I open it to... I can open it on the whole screen, so that'll work. So what we're just going to do is we're going to move OBS to the other screen. So you guys... This is going to look horrific, if I'm honest. Alright. I've just got to reduce this down so that it fits across me. Okay, can you guys see that? I'm hoping you guys can see that a bit better. I can't see the chat right now, so I'm blocking chat. Well, I can see it on my OBS. Can you guys see? Andy, this is the question for you here. Can you see this? See if I can get Twitch chat up on the other screen. Here we go. Okay, you can see that. That's perfect. You can probably see Twitch chat now. Okay, so let's bring chat up. So this is the piece here. Has the whole stream stopped for you? But you can see this, okay. So what this is this is the VIA interface. So this is the VIA interface. Sorry, the stream has stopped for me on my Twitch. It might have been from me dragging it about. So this is the VIA interface though. So it's really easy, really easy to use for those that haven't used this sort of thing before. But say for instance, I want to change some of the bits and pieces around. So, say this locking caps lock, I want it to be something completely different. I can just go into, I don't know, into here, and we'll go for a special key of some sort. We'll just put a question mark there. So we'll say this one to a question mark, and that is it changed on the PCB. If I were to go to chat now and hold caps lock down, I'll hit enter, there you go. Because it's a locking key, it'll do that. It does it on the fly, so I mean, if I want to change this to a hash key, I'll do the hash key. Oh no, this is going to give me a pound sign because it's obviously it's slightly different. It's doing the American one, so really easy. You can get hash keys. I can't. So I'm gonna leave this as the locking caps lock for now because they are going to be bringing out support for this. But obviously you can do this across multiple layers. So I mean, I've got arrow keys set up, and these are the LED stuff and bits and pieces. I think this is probably one of the default layouts that you have for this. But the cool bit is that you've got all of the lighting features here. So if I show this, and let me just make sure that this is in focus on there. Alright, there we go. You should be able to see this a bit better now. So the really great bit of this is that you can change solid colours really quickly and easily. So you can see blue, I can just move this about on here as I please, moving it about, different colours. So I can have it white, set it back to white. Albeit one of the keys looks like it's a bit funky. Set it to white, whatever I want. I can set it to teal. Really easy to change about. But I'm going to leave it as the horizontal scrolling. But I mean, you've got all sorts. You've got jelly bean drop, and it'll make little lights and stuff like that. Just sort of play around with the different things. But really easy to use. And something that is very impressive, a very impressive tool. Very impressive tool overall. I mean, you are going to have to come over to here at some point. Oh, whoops! Bring VIA up for a second, and let's just hide that VIA screen. Yeah, you have to come over at some point, and because you are only just around the corner. You'll have to come around and give it a try out, but nonetheless, guys, let me just catch up on chat before closing the stream for this evening off. So we have got Dan55. He says, "Hey bro, I'm fairly new to mechanical keyboards. I'm just wondering where you get your parts from." So I buy them from a host of different places here in the UK. So for instance, this case came from a company called KBDFans in China, and so KBDFans does the Tofu case. It's a 60% case. The PCB that's inside of this has come from a company called Mech Boards. They're in the UK. They are one of the major UK vendors. Great guys. And this was made in conjunction with Yanka, who's a UK PCB designer. Again, lovely guy. And he's done a marvellous job with this. The plate that's inside of this was custom cut by Laserboost. And they did a great job. Brass plate, really well done. The switches, they've come from a company called PC, and so these are the Zilent V2s, but I mean you can get Zilents from a couple of different places, just don't get them from KBDFans at the moment. And the keycap set has come from a company called UK Keycaps, and that's run by a guy called Joe in the UK, and he ran this as a group buy a little while ago, but he's got a bunch of in-stock items. But the main places I look generally to get stuff for in the UK, I'll probably look at like UK Keycaps, Caps Unlocked, Mechbox, Mechboard, Mechboard UK. I quite often end up looking at the Keyboard Co. They're all great ones if you want to buy something internally in the UK, but if you're looking further afield, Candy Keys is great. I'd also strongly suggest looking at Novel Keys and KBDFans. They're all great places to get from, and I mean Mashdrop is a major place to look at if you ever want to get stuff. So I mean there are a couple of options for you there, Dan. But if you have any issues, please do drop me a message on the MK UK Discord. I'm more than happy to help you out if you need any help, or you're more than welcome to also drop me a message on Twitch, send me a PM of some sort, and we can have a chat. More than happy to help out. And Theo coming in, looks like I got here a little late. Yeah, a little too late. I mean, board is finished, and it's looking great. I'm really happy with the board. I'm very happy to get back into a 60%, and so what I'm going to just do is, before heading off, I'm just going to stop the music, so the music is stopped, and what we're just going to do is we're going to open up a word pad here, so you guys can have a little listen to what it sounds like, and get an idea of what Zilent V2s, which are lubed and spring swapped with 78 gram sprit springs, sound like on DSA keycaps inside of a aluminium Tofu case with a brass plate. Give you some sort of idea. I mean, it's not the it's a very custom board, but gives you an idea of what Zilents can sound like at the very least. So okay, so hopefully that gives you guys some sort of idea on what they sound like. They do sound very clunky, like a very thunk 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 sort of sound from where I'm sitting, and the tactility in them is very sharp. But then again, I really like sharp tactility, and so one of my next boards that should be coming, later this month, is the FR87, and that FR87 is going to be built with Zilio V2s, and I'm a real big fan of these Zilents. These Zilents are lovely. I had them in another board which I sold, and as part of that I got the switches for this. So I will be getting some Zilio V2s. I will be getting some 72 gram springs, and we'll be making a beautiful TKL, RGB TKL. So thank you guys once again though for coming and stopping by. If any of you have any questions, or you have any issues or anything like that, keyboard related, drop me a message. I'm more than happy to help out. I'm on the UK Discord most of the time, and if you've got a project and you're too worried to do it, I'm happy to give advice where needed, and I'm even happy to build the board if you'd like me to. Obviously, Andy needs to come around to my house at some point because he lives one road up and he hasn't seen the keyboard collection of the house. So, Andy, get your ass around here next week. But guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I love you all, and I will see you on the next stream. Talk to you guys later. Bye.